I respectfully disagree, and I think if you talk to people of faith and even religious leaders, they would see that this is really something that makes sense. Nobody should be committing a hate crime in the name of religion.
This was Marc Miller, our new Minister of Canadian Identity and Culture, the man who replaced Stephen Guilbeault, the man who's responsible for retabling Bill C-63, the Online Harms Act. But as you'll see today, this is the last man we want deciding what we can and cannot say online. My name is Nico Lagan, and I'm too conservative for the conservatives. My co-host, Rob Ambrose, not woke enough for the liberals. We are the political orphans. Tonight is all about free speech, 100% about free speech. So we're going to talk about Marc Miller. We're going to talk about the supposed deal that's happened behind closed doors between the Bloc Québécois and the Liberals to pass Bill C-9. And at 8:30, surprise, surprise, Rob, you don't know this because I just booked this today, we are joined by constitutional lawyer Olivier Séguin to speak about his client's lawsuit against the Quebec City for what happened when he tried to host a Sean Foyt show back a few months. Nice. So they're suing the city of Quebec City. He's going to be on for 15 minutes, give or take, just to tell us what's going on. So yeah, today is all about freedom of speech. And yeah, let's start right in. You heard about Marc Miller, I would imagine. This is no surprise. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. What the guy's been saying.
That deal that Carney struck with the Bloc Québécois to basically they're going to support the bill, and in return, Carney removed the religious exemption because up until now that was always an exemption for so-called hate speech was if it was a deeply held religious belief. I don't understand. It's one thing to agree with something. I mean, we disagree with things that politics or politicians do all the time. And oftentimes you can disagree with something, but understand why they're doing it. You get why. I don't understand why the Bloc cares about that. I don't like what are they trying to do here?
Well, clearly, I don't know if you've been following the politics in Quebec, but they have tabled a new bill in order to prevent people from praying in the streets, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to go after religion in public spaces, which, we talked about it last week, and they're trying to send a message, especially to the Muslim community, that we will not accept them closing off street just to pray like they've been doing in Montreal, like we've seen in Toronto, like we've seen in some of the biggest intersections in Canada. But instead of enforcing the laws that we already have, which prevents people from doing that, they're trying to put a bunch of hate speech laws in place, which I don't agree with. That's the problem, right? Do I think Muslims should be allowed to block the street to fucking pray? Hell the fuck no, they shouldn't. Does that mean I want new laws to be put in place when we already have existing laws that just needs to be enforced? No, I want the less laws possible. So the problem with Marc Miller, the big issue with Marc Miller is what he said about the Bible. So this is where I wanted to start, and we'll show the video right now because this is from October 30th. So that's more than a month ago. That is before he was selected as the Minister of Canadian Identity and Culture. That's the role that Stephen Guilbeault, the climate change activist, become minister, had as a role. So we went from bad to worse, and this video is gonna kind of show you what I'm talking about here. But here is this is our new minister, Marc Miller, when he was in committee at the end of October, and listen to what he had to say about the Bible.
I'll just use the chair's prerogative for 2 seconds to ask a follow-up question to Mr. Ross. And as despicable and as unlawful, I believe the statements made by Mr. Shakawi were and would be if they were stated again. We don't know why the prosecution chose not to continue with the charges. And perhaps it is to Mr. Fortin's point. I just want to dig in a bit about the concept of good faith, Mr. Ross. in Leviticus, Deuteronomy, Romans, there's other passages, there is clear hatred towards, for example, homosexuals. I don't understand how the concept of good faith could be invoked if someone were literally invoking a passage from, in this case, the Bible, but there are other religious texts that say the same thing, and somehow say that this is good faith. I mean, clearly there are situations in these texts where these statements are hateful. They should not be used to invoke or be a defense, and there should perhaps be discretion for prosecutors to press charges. I just want to understand what your notion of good faith is in this context, where there are clearly passages in religious texts that are clearly hateful.
So this is our new Minister of Canadian Identity and not heritage, because they just made this up. It's Canadian Identity and Culture. And clearly he's saying outright
it's entirely made
that the Bible, but he says that the Bible is hateful. That's basically, and he quoted Leviticus. So he's basically saying that the book on which our system of law was originally founded is hateful. So this is who we're talking about. And the video that I played earlier came from today. I'm having a massive issue with my Google Drive for some reason, so I'm waiting forever for this video to be uploaded for the next video, because what he said today, in my opinion, is even worse. But the thing that I want to bring to people's attention is that the minister that is responsible for Canada's identity and culture also has the mandate of retabling Bill C-63. So the guy you just heard that calls the Bible hateful and nobody should be able to use the section 319 of the criminal code that prevents hate speech, that prevents religious texts to be considered hate speech. That's the exemption to the hate speech laws that we have. He is not in favor, as you will see in the next video that I'm going to show you in a little while. He's not in favor of the Bible to be protected by hate speech laws anymore. And he also clearly made it sound like he believes the Bible is hateful. So he believes the Bible's hateful and he doesn't want to protect it. And that is the guy that is responsible for retabling Bill C-63, the Online Arms Act, that will decide what we can and cannot say online. And for the people out there that might not know section 319 of the criminal code, because let's be honest, I did not know that section by heart either, but if you're found guilty under section 319, if good faith is removed, you're looking at 2 years in prison for hate speech. And that is if it stays the way that it is, if the criminal code laws are the same. But as you'll see later on, the Bloc and the Liberals are trying to change the criminal code through Bill C-9. Remember the Sean Fraser Bill C-9, that everything is hateful now. You can't stand in front of a place where people might go to pray because that's hate speech. No, that's hate behavior. So this is what blows my mind, is that guy's worse than Stephen Guilbeault, if you ask me. And Stephen Guilbeault was a fucking mess. Like, that dude was a menace.
Yeah, I don't. It's wild to me that they're even bothering doing this. So clearly there are passages in Leviticus that may be perceived as anti-gay. First of all, that does not mean it's hateful, right? People are allowed to not believe, or to have their own preferences, right?
Yep.
Now, many long-time listeners don't know that I'm an atheist, but I grew up in the church, and most church people will often hold, beliefs that say homosexuality is a sin or it's wrong. But I've never once heard any pastor preach from the pulpit using those verses. So it's a non-issue. It's really weird to me that they're even going after this, because it's not like there are Christian pastors out there. Maybe there might be one or two extremist ones, but the vast majority, even if the congregation may believe that homosexuality is sin, they are not up there preaching against homosexuals. And even if they were, they should be allowed to do that. even when they do, they talk about it in reference of it is a sin. They're not talking about go out and stone homosexuals, go out and kill gay people. Nobody is doing that. And you know, it isn't a crime, a hate crime, to think that something is a sin. If you don't, that's just disagreeing with someone. It's crazy. I you know, as someone who I don't have an issue with homosexuals. I don't particularly think it's a sin. And I'm also not a Christian. And yet I think this is extreme overreach. This is insanity. It seems to be just kind of picking on Christians for no reason. It's not like there's any large number of pastors out there preaching violence against homosexuals. I've yet to see one, period.
And you know, that's the funniest part, is that the whole point of the Christian Bible is to, sure, you know what? It's a sin. Okay, cool. It's a sin. You still need to love the people that are sinners. You need to love them more than the people that you actually like. If Jesus was to come back today, if you believe in the Bible and you believe that Jesus would to come back today, who would he hang out with? Would he hang out with guys like me that tries to live a Christian life every day? Or would he go hang out with the people that are trans or the people that are gay, that the people that he preaches are sinners? Because that's what he did in the Bible. And that's the whole point of this, is at the end of the day, and this is the question I have for the people out there. I know most of the people's answer, but for the people that are new to the show, for the people that probably never been here before, yes, we're talking about religion, but it's not a religious show. It is just that it's going against free speech. This is the whole point here. And the question that I have for you guys today is, should religious speech be protected against hate speech? I would push it even further to say, should all speech be protected against hate speech? And if we can push it even further, does hate speech even exist? Should we even consider hate speech as part of the equation? Because that's a question I have for the people out there. So please let us know what you think in the comments below. But should religious texts be protected by hate speech? Should every speech be protected against hate speech? Should hate speech even exist? Should that be a thing? Or should people grow the fuck up and understand that, you know what, people won't agree? I don't agree that women can have penises. Is that hate speech against women? Technically, it would be, if I consider what they're saying. It hurts my feelings. It really triggers me. No, it doesn't. I couldn't give two shits because they're idiots. But no, sorry, I don't want to say they're idiots. They're mentally ill. Let's say that. But because I don't agree with it doesn't mean that I want it to be banned. Doesn't mean that I want the people that say that women can have penises deserve to go in prison. They deserve to go to prison. Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I think I agree with Pam here. Says no, because we have laws protecting people against violence. Yeah, those laws are already on the books, and that's really all that we need. I support laws that criminalize speech that is inherently violent, like a pastor or an imam giving a sermon, preaching, saying go out and kill homosexuals, or go out and kill this group, or go kill that group, or commit violence against people. But those laws already exist on the books. We don't need hate speech laws. We don't need hate crime laws. And again, we've talked to lawyers in the past. Those things already exist. If a crime is committed, an assault or a murder, and there is a hate aspect to it, then the judge will consider that a aggravating factor and will get a stiffer sentence, and that's fine too. But to have standalone hate crime, hate speech laws where saying something that hurts someone's feelings can get you an actual fucking jail time it's insane. It's insanity, the direction that we're going.
Couldn't agree with you more. And you know, that brings me, before I hit the second topic, because they're both related, right? They're both about Mark Miller. They're both about free speech. They're both about what's going on against religious speech right now. But before we jump into it, I just want to say that today's episode is brought to you by Gabble. So the world's first live video debate app on the market. You can choose to watch, or you can do like I do, and you can debate. I was there again today, debating people. So if you want to experience civil discourse, if you want to practice civil discourse, because one thing's for sure, it's a skill that people need to develop. Because if you start having an opinion, it's like the opinions that you speak about now on the show. I guarantee you, if you bring them to your family, they're not going to agree with you. And it's good to have the skill to be able to debate and know how to put your positions and explain them. So if you want to support the show, support Gabo, check the description below. Our affiliate link is there. And I want to say before we continue that tomorrow, I'm very excited about this. I've been trying to get this guy on the show for more than a year and a half. But tomorrow we are joined by Queen's University law professor Bruce Pardy, the man that explained to Jordan Peterson what Bill C-63 was all about a year and a half ago. Great episode. If you haven't seen this, that dude blew my mind. I've been trying to get him on the show since then, but he's finally agreed to come. He's joining us tomorrow, and we will be talking about Bill C-9 and the new Bill C-63. It's going to be today. We're introducing the subjects. Tomorrow, we're deep diving with a law professor, one of the most recognized lawyer in Canada. So cannot fucking wait. So I found I found the video. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, man.
No, I was just saying that's going to be a great show. Before we play the video, I just want to take this quick comment from Carly Simon. I think this is actually your first time commenting, Carly, so welcome to the show. She says, well, what about religious teachings instructing you to throw gays off the roof? Who does that? I got to ask, where, what? There are no this is a figment. This is an invented thing. This doesn't happen. Now, there's a certain group of people who does throw gay people off roofs, generally Muslims or certain Muslim countries. But that it's not in the Quran, throw gay people off of roofs. They just do it because it's part of their culture. But yeah, I got to say, what are the religious teachings here that we're referring to, Carly?
I believe that was very sarcastic, and I believe that it's hard to transmit sarcasm through text because I'm extremely sarcastic, and most people don't get my sarcasm.
Right. I see it. Yeah. Okay, so I see it now.
Reread it with sarcasm. Yeah, I'm like, Carly, I got you. I think it's the first time you comment. We got you. What I feel you.
Yes, I got you. Okay, I see it now.
Say it with a bit of a smart ass tone, and you're like, yep.
Fair play.
Just before we jump into the next subject, I see that Oliver joined us already. Thumbs up. We still have a few minutes to go, but we will get to you in about 7 minutes. He can hear us because he's waving and he's smiling, so that's the spirit. Now let's continue so I showed you a video of our new Minister of Canadian Identity, Marc Miller, and what he said on October 30th about the Bible and how the Bible is hateful. Here is, just to see, because he wasn't minister back then, maybe he changed his tune. He did not. He definitely did not. Here, there's a video that was released by CTV News earlier. It's about 5 minutes of just him answering questions after question period in the House of Commons. I kind of clipped two pieces together, so you'll see there's a cut, but I'm just removing the fluff that had nothing to do with what we're speaking about today. But here's Marc Miller speaking about the Bible, speaking about hate speech laws, and speaking about how the Bloc Québécois and the Liberals have indeed made a deal for them to endorse Bill C-9.
Reports that your government is making an agreement with the Bloc to remove religious exemptions from the hate speech laws to pass Bill C-9. You're the chair of the Justice Committee. Right. Is that happening?
Well, I had to question myself. Look, I'm a person of faith. I'm Christian. I have very, very deep beliefs. The reality is I don't think people should be using the Bible, the Quran, or the Torah to escape from committing a hate crime or claim that the hate, what would otherwise be a hate crime, is done in the name of a religious text. You can look at the religious texts yourself and see what they mean, but the reality is that there is an exception in the criminal code that are making people hesitate. And when the conservatives come out and pretend that they are defending freedom of expression, they're defending people like Adel Shakari.
But Christian Muslim stakeholders are already saying this would be attack on freedom of religion. So
remember what he just said. Adil Shakari. If you don't know who that is, I'll explain it afterwards. But it matters because he just compared people that believe in the Bible, Christians like me, to Adel Shakari, and you'll understand why that matters in a minute.
Yeah, I'm not sure who he is.
Come on,
to be
video.
on side with this,
There you go.
hearing some of the concerns already.
I'd respectfully disagree, and I think if you talk to people of faith and even religious leaders, they would see that this is really something that makes sense, and that nobody actually should be committing.
Well, it has to go in
Let me finish my thought, but nobody should be committing a hate crime in the name of religion.
So there you have it. This is the man. This is the man that is responsible for retabling Bill C-63. That's a guy that believes that hate speech is a thing, that we need to protect people's emotions against text, against words. And not only should we protect their emotions, but people like me that believes in the Bible, that will openly talk about it, should go to jail for at least 2 years because we've hurt mentally disabled, mentally ill individuals. Like, this is how insane this has become. And to put it into perspective, the guy that he speaks, just before you go, let me read 2 sentences because I knew who the guy was. But Adil Shakawi is the dude that on October 28th, 2023, during a pro-Palestinian rally in Montreal, shortly after the October 7th Hamas attack on Israel, said, Allah, take care of these Zionist aggressors. Allah, identify them, then exterminate them, and don't spare any of them. This is a guy out of Montreal here. I've heard about him. He's a massive fucking twat. He is a religious leader. He's a Muslim leader. But he basically called for the extermination of Jews. And Marc Miller, not only in the video that I showed you about what he said on October 30th, but what he repeated today is that hate speech is equal to what that guy said. So if the Bible says that being gay is a sin, is the equivalent to somebody calling for the extermination of Jews. This is the guy responsible for Bill C-63.
And what's crazy is that is criminal speech. That is open advocating for violence. And we already have the tools. We already have the tools to deal with what he said. And yet that guy was not arrested. That guy was not deported. I don't know if he was born here or not. But even if he was an immigrant, they're not going to deport him. But they're going to create new laws that none of it makes sense. Look, even if you agreed 1,000,000% with everything that Marc Miller is saying about, hate speech being terrible and a real thing and blah, 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 you should still be opposed to this because it doesn't do anything. Like, so, banning people from reading certain Bible verses, even if they had quote unquote hate in their hearts, they're still going to have it, right? The hate will still exist. People will still hate whatever they want to hate. You're just making it go underground. It's just nonsense. It's nonsense all around. And that was just playing devil's advocate, assuming that he's got a point about hate speech, which he doesn't. It's all garbage. There should be no criminalization of any type of hurty feelings.
And Shakawi that you just saw was not born in Canada. He was born in Morocco in 1974. He is back. He is in Canada. He is a citizen now. But how has that guy not been deported? How can a guy go publicly, call for the extermination of Jews? And the fact that they're Jews has nothing to do with it. Like the extermination of a group of individuals that he doesn't like, yet he's still free. He's still okay. He's not in prison. He hasn't even been deported. This is insane to me.
Meanwhile, they're creating whole new laws. They're creating laws about. They're creating laws literally about what he's actually doing. Literally designed to stop what he's doing, and yet they didn't do anything to this guy who actually did it. It's ridiculous.
And again, guys, I'm kind of running through those 2 subjects. Or those 2 topics in 30 minutes because we do have a guest that's going to be joining us momentarily. I'm just going to introduce him in a second. But remember that we are joined by Bruce Party tomorrow, Queen's University law professor. I'm very excited. I look controlled and composed right now, but I'm like a little girl on the inside. I'm gonna fan girl a bit tomorrow because I've been trying to get this guy for a while. So This is just an introduction. This is just to give you an idea of what we're going to really be deep diving into tomorrow. But man, the fact that Marc Miller is the man that is responsible now for telling us what we can and cannot say online is scary as shit. And that guy has the audacity to call himself a Christian when the text that he's supposed to follow as a Christian is hateful. Like, the mental gymnastic needed to believe in what he said is insane. Like, this, no difference to me. If you're a Christian and you believe the Bible is hateful, you also believe that women can have penises, and that takes a lot of faith. That takes a shit ton of faith. Now, let's bring up Olivier Séguin. Oliver, we'll speak in English, although he is clearly French just like me, but we are joined by constitutional lawyer Olivier Séguin from the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedom. And the reason that he's joining us today is to talk about his client's lawsuit against the city of Quebec for terminating their lease agreement for hosting Sean Foyt. Olivier, bonsoir.
Bonsoir. Thank you, everyone.
Absolutely.
Great to have you on.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for being here. I've been trying to get somebody. I've been hoping, because John Carpe is a friend of the show. We have him all the time. And we've been trying to get somebody to sue the city of Montreal. I'm from Montreal. So I wanted people to get sued in the city of Montreal for charging $2,500 for giving a ticket to the organizers of a Sean Foyt event. And remember, guys, this is the MAGA white supremacist. And if you're listening to this, obviously I'm air quoting right now. That guy's just a singer that doesn't believe in abortion and that supports Donald Trump. So obviously he's a white supremacist, racist, xenophobe, homophobic, probably too, right? But all to say that I'm happy that you're here, because I'm happy to see churches or religious individuals fight back against the wokeness that has infected the Quebec province and Canada as a whole outside of Alberta. So what should we know about what's going on? Because nobody knows. So you're here to explain. What do we need to know?
Give us a summary.
Okay. All right. So last week, a lot of people talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
But indeed, like the first one, okay, so I'll tell the story for those who don't know. So Sean Foyt was going to make a tour. It was organized by the organization that we represent. It's called Burn 24/7. They're based in BC. So a tour was organized from the east to the west, from the Maritimes to BC, passing through Quebec City, everywhere. It was basically all rented or reserved in parks, cities, everything public, almost no private entities. The inception of the cancellation, I cannot give you too much details about that, but the first to cancel were in Halifax, Moncton, and La Redoute, York, so parts Canada, and then Moncton, others. And then they went to, Sean Foyt went to Quebec. He was supposed to have a show in Quebec City. One day before the show, the city of Quebec said that they cancel, and we won't go into the contract because it's very boring and we're going to win big time. They have no chance. And they basically said that, okay, we're all for free speech, but speech that are not pro-LGBTQ cannot be tolerated. It must be inclusive and this and that. I mean, we know the story. And then Sean Foyt, he looked to basically to play somewhere else. And Church of Montreal that I represent too said, come here. So he came. And the city of Montreal, who doesn't have a lease or a reservation with Sean Foyt, didn't know what to do to cancel him. So what they did is that they used the borough bylaws that have to do with basically a place of occupation. You don't have the right to make a concert. By the way, it was not a concert. like it was musical. It's the way that the evangelicals do
Music played at a church service. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so the CD sent four, not one, but like four big guys the day before, basically to advise him that he was not entitled. They had to be four. And, they inspected the church as if they had the right to enter, like with police permits and all that. They just entered and they said, oh, like we see here like a drum. We see there like a sound system. The pastor answered, it's there since 25 years. It's ours. It's the way that I'm
crazy.
not an evangelical, but they have their...
I'm a Christian, and I can tell you I've been to dozens of church across Canada, across US, and they all have a band. It either is people singing choir style, or there's all of the events that all the Sunday service that I go to, there's a band that plays music and people sing. It is part of worshiping together to sing together, and it always starts by the singing so that people feel connected. That is a fact. That has nothing to do with a concert. This is just music for God, plain and simple.
And by the way, like, sorry, Rob, I interrupted you.
No.
Rob tends to interrupt people, so don't worry about it.
Okay, all right. So, and the other thing, that evangelical or not evangelical, I'm a Catholic. Like, do we have, like, do we need permits to play organ? Like, does the choir needs to ask like a permission?
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, like I as Nico was saying, like, almost every church has a band, and that's what the instrument's for. But even that kind of, even if it was for a band or Sean Foyt, like, why were they not allowed to do that? Why would they even need to? Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
All right. So, and I don't want to be technical, but one thing is that, the goal, like what is the purpose of those bylaws of boroughs? It's basically, managing true stuff. Like, it cannot be too noisy if there are houses like besides. There need to be like some parking and, stuff like that. Like, the goal of a bylaw cannot be to impede on free speech. It cannot be that. And that's faulty. So that's the other thing.
One of the things that I remember, because I followed this story heavily, because I knew who Sean Foyt was prior to all of this. I love the fact that he has a set of balls on him, because he keeps on calling out Canada for their censorship and their censorship laws, which I absolutely love. I love or hate the music that he does. It's irrelevant. The guy got balls, and I respect people that have courage. But one of the things that's ironic about this is, not only did the city of Montreal fine that church $2,500 for hosting a show that is free, they were not charging people. I don't believe they ever arrested the man that smoke bombed the church. Because if you guys remember, there is a guy, he was caught on camera. There was a protest with a few hundred people on the outside of the church. He stepped in, opened the door, smoke bombed the event, walked away. Nothing happened. Nobody stopped it. He was identified by Rebel News, if I'm not mistaken. And from what I know, that guy never been arrested. He's not in jail. Nothing has happened to this man. But God forbid a MAGA racist white guy from the US comes to Canada to speak about Jesus loving you. How God forbid, right? So what's the next step? What are we going to see from now? Because obviously we cannot let them get away with this. You see what's going on with Sean Fraser's Bill C-9 that could enable this type of behavior to be even worse, to be prosecuted legally. We're seeing our new Marc Miller, like we've been talking about for most of the show today, that is going to retable a Bill C-63. So whatever is said online is going to could potentially be regulated. And clearly he said it clearly that the Bible, in his opinion, is hateful. Is that what Sean Foyt and the church wants, is to kind of fight back to the overreach the government seems to have in Quebec, the Quebec province, and on the federal level? Is that what they're trying to do?
Okay, so before to answer your question directly, just make a little digression.
You're a lawyer after all. I get it. Be
Okay,
careful
all right.
in the way you approach it.
To give the devil his due to the police of Montreal, everywhere else, like in Moncton, in Parks Canada, even Parks Canada, close to Ottawa, like Gatineau, which was supposed to be the one after. Okay, they pretended that they cannot allow that for security reasons, as if they could not be able to ensure security. Besides Ottawa, Park Canada, give me a break. Honestly, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
The police of Montreal didn't do that. The city tried, because there's some separation between the city and the police. The city tried, the city official, mayors, people, try to have the police basically say that they were not able to ensure security. The police didn't do that. So they were around and they let the show happen. They ensured security as they should. So just one thing that I wanted to say, because I think that they did well, honestly. The police of Montreal. I never said that about them, but they deserve it. And
but
yes,
before you answer my other question, I apologize for cutting you off, but I just want to kind of make sure I understand you properly. Basically, you're saying that the city of Ottawa didn't allow Sean Foyt pull his permits because they could not guarantee the security of the people that are going to the event, because we all know that the Christians are not the one walking around smoke bombing and attacking people. It's the people that are protesting that are violent. So basically the city of Ottawa is saying we cannot guarantee the protection of Christians against the people that might attack them. Why not just arrest them? Like, what type of nonsense is this?
Yeah, it's an inversion. Just to be accurate, it's not the city of Ottawa, it's Parks Canada in Gatineau.
Okay.
Which is basically
Gotcha.
the federal state apparatus.
Yes.
Okay. They have
it's even worse. That's the federal government. It's even worse than just the city of
GRC,
Ottawa.
all that. It's
That's
even worse, as you said. And as you say, like, if, let's say, to hack the system, you just had to say, okay, we're going to protest besides the show. It's too easy, honestly. Like, if protesters have the right to protest, they can do that. And the police has to ensure that they are there. Okay, maybe avoid like being too close to each other, avoid fights or stuff like that. They need to ensure security. If they really can't, it may happen like in little cities, villages. In the cities that we will sue. It was based a lot on the fact that was a security reason invoked or not, because factually they knew that it's very tough for us to prove that they couldn't ensure security. Like it speaks to like police practices, things that are just factually very difficult to prove in court. So they just said security. It was not the fact in Quebec City, and it was not relevant in Montreal. But at the end of the day, as long as they can ensure security, it is their duty. Like everyone has the right to speech in this country. And if people are trying to impede on anyone's free speech, is the duty of the state to let everyone speak, basically.
You know what they say, all animals are equals, but some animals are more equal than others.
You read The Farm of the Animals. Is that it?
Animal Farm, one of the greatest book ever written by George Orwell. That's a masterpiece right there. Can you confirm something that I want to make sure that what I heard in the past is correct, because you were talking about Parks Canada, which was responsible for canceling the show of Sean Foyt in Gatineau. We also know that they were responsible, if I'm not mistaken, in Alberta and BC. It was also Parks Canada that pulled their permits. But is it
in the Maritimes?
Oh, see. Oh, right. So, is it true that all those permits had been approved? They had been granted, and shortly before the event, they learned who Sean Foyt was, because obviously they did not know who Sean Foyt was before the outrage, and then they pulled the permits, because that's what happened, if I remember
what
correctly. At
happened.
least, okay. So that's the information. So for once, the information
Wow.
media gave us was actually accurate. Wow, that's interesting. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. In I would say in Quebec City, I cannot say. In fact, I do say, let's say, legally speaking, but let's not be technical. As I said, I don't think that they were that they had anything, I would say, personal between them and the Christian faith, because in the contract it was supposed to be like an event of like music and prayers. But I think that they just enter into the wave of, I mean, it's just cancellation. It's the same process that we see, like we saw that, like we live in the cancel culture. But one thing is different, I would say. How the cancel culture works, it is that anyone feels obliged to cancel you because they fear to be canceled by another one if they don't do that. So it's a kind of system of domino where it's like it's just like it's like a shot. This logic is not true with governments. Like it's not true. Like between entities of government, municipalities, like provinces, the federal state, all that, it's not true. So they're I would say that they are more guilty than private people, let's say, morally speaking, to enter in that kind of cancellation. And of course, the state, the state shouldn't persecute too much hate speech, because we know that it's interpreted broadly by the people that have the power. But the state should be neutral. Like they should be neutral. And if they take, I would say, if I'll say something in French, please translate it. Si leur jupon dépasse. Comment on dit ça? How do we say that?
Jupon, Jesus. For the people out there, it is the undergarment that women wore under their long dresses back in the days, like 100.
If
we see your
like
undergarment too much,
okay.
I mean, there's a problem. It is the fact.
But you're absolutely right. And Rob likes to say something. It's the cancel culture is the same. What's the analogy that you use all the time, Rob, about the naked king? It's really everybody is participating because
the Emperor's New Clothes. Yeah, a lot of this, people are participating. They don't actually think the Emperor's wearing clothes. The thing is, they think everyone else thinks he is, and so they have to pretend. But no one really, and no one really believes this stuff. And we're all just kind of waiting for, in the story, in the analogy, it's a child who says, "Oh, but the Emperor's, but he's not wearing any clothes." And of course, in that moment, the illusion dies. Everyone realizes that no one else sees him with clothes, and he's actually just naked. And then that changes everything. And I think we're all just sort of waiting here for, the allegorical for the child who's going to speak up and say, but the Emperor's just naked.
Well, Oliver. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. If you had a question for Oliver, go ahead, man.
I did have one quick question for Oliver before he goes. So the city of Montreal, when they canceled this not concert, but this show, what was the reason that they gave? Because clearly even though the real reason was probably just that he's being canceled across Canada, and I guess they didn't want to. They just wanted to fit in. But
so the reason that they invoke is that buildings need to have a certificate of occupation, like for what you do. Like, let's say if you're a commerce or like anything, basically you need to have like the permit of occupation. If I have like a house, I mean, I can live there. I cannot like sell Christmas trees, let's say. Okay.
Sure.
And they basically said that their certificate of occupation is one of like worship and prayers, or this category, and they needed the category of like where we do shows like spectacle and all that. So that's the reason that they invoke.
Okay.
So basically, they made it sound like a church event that happens every Sunday, where a group is there playing music. They should need to have a permit in order to perform there, and because they did not have a permit, they prevented Sean Foyt from performing and even charged him, because I think the church got a $2,500 ticket, right?
Yeah. So and by the way, based on the same logic, they should probably ask to every church their program. Who knows what they do? Like we're gonna decide if we apply the rules or not based on your beliefs.
Mm-hmm. I want to thank you, Oliver, for coming on the show. I'm really curious to hear more. So please, once you go to court and you start fighting this, once you're able to speak about what's going on, because obviously you're a lawyer, you need to be careful. Unlike me, you have to be careful about what you say. I don't give a fuck. I just say what needs to get said.
I'm not a free man.
So I'd like to have you back on. So you have my email address. Make sure to let me know when you have an update on this. We'd like to have you back on for 15-20 minutes, talk about what's going on. Ooh. And take it from there. Absolutely. But thank you for joining us, Oliver. Much appreciated. And thank you for doing what you're doing. We're big fans of the Justice Center, so continue fighting.
All right, so I'll watch the professor tomorrow.
Absolutely. See you. Bye, Oliver.
Take care.
There you have it.
Good chat.
I like those quick 15-20 minutes ish. I'm gonna try to do more of them. So, I wanted to leave some time. We started a bit late, like we always do. We're always 2 minutes late. So we got about like as per the time, we're 46 minutes in. So technically we could go another 10-12 minutes. So I'd like to just take some comments. Let me ask the people out there, what'd you think of Oliver? What'd you think about him trying to help the churches protect themselves against overreach from our federal government? What do you guys think of Marc Miller, our new Minister of Canadian Identity, and what he's saying about free speech and hate speech? Because guys, remember, this is the guy that will have the responsibility for retabling Bill C-63. And Sean Fraser, our Justice Minister, has said repeatedly that it will be retabled before the end of the year. So we don't have that much time left, because they go on vacation around the 18th, the 19th, depending on the year. But we're talking about 2.5 weeks, like not even 3 weeks, right? Just over between 2 and 3 weeks. So we will see this bill. Obviously, it's already done. He's just going to present it like Sean Fraser did. When he was asked question, he had no fucking idea about the bill. He couldn't answer them because he did not work on that bill. He's just the twat presenting it, and nothing's going to be different from Marc Miller. But I'd like you guys to think about some questions for Party tomorrow, for Queen University law professor Bruce Party, because we will be deep diving into Bill C-9 and Bill C-63, and Bill C-9 being that there's a deal that has been made between the Bloc Québécois and the Liberal Party that they will agree to pass the bill, because remember, they need another party like the NDP or the Bloc Québécois to support them in order to pass a bill in Parliament, since there's still a minority government. But we'll talk about that deal, we'll talk about what it means, and we'll talk about Bill C-63. So let us know what you think right now. Be ready to ask some questions tomorrow. But yeah, man, if there's some comments you liked, let's highlight them, man.
Well, first we'll appreciate the tip, Wilf. Got to call that out. Thanks for that, brother. Nice little tip into the tip jar. This one's here from Beaver Grease. Says, it's a hell of a name too. It's got almost like we got Rusty Wiener. We got Rusty Wiener, and then we got Beaver Grease. It says, I'm a lifelong.
You guys should hang out.
Get some beaver grease on that rusty wiener.
Yep. Oh, Jesus.
He says, I'm a lifelong atheist, and even I'm disgusted by this. You know, they will not enforce law against Muslim or Palestinian nut jobs. Yeah, that's my take too. I'm also an atheist. I have no dog in the fight per se as far as the religious aspect. I just think it's important, not just important, but crucial for any society diverse like ours that's multicultural, multi-religious, to be extremely strict about treating everyone the exact same. You can't have separate sets of rules. You can't treat one religious group, hold them to strict standards while the other gets to do whatever the fuck they want. That's insanity. It's a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for ripping up the social fabric, and we need to change course on this now, because this is, make no mistake, this is against Christianity. They're not going to enforce it against Muslims.
No, of course not. Obviously not, because Christians are getting arrested for protesting on the sidewalk, for just talking about the Bible on the sidewalk, but Muslims are capable of blocking streets, the busiest streets in Canada, to pray. No consequences. They're even protected by police. So again, all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than other. And this gives my exact definition of what I think about free speech. Lost Art 420. People should grow the fuck up. That is exactly what it is. Your feelings are fucking irrelevant. If my speech hurts your feeling, fuck off. You're easily controlled. If you let a guy you don't know hurt your feelings with words, and you believe I need to go to jail for this, you are weak. You need to realize that you are extremely weak and easily controllable. And you need to understand that your feelings matter to two people in this life, you and your mother. All of us are not responsible for tiptoeing around your feelings. Unfortunately, we live in a society where the patients are running the asylum, and all feelings matters, and feelings matter more than facts now, because facts are hurtful.
Well, and it's just it's nonsense, and it's like we forgot somewhere in the last couple of decades that, teaching our kids resiliency is a major life skill. We can teach kids to be resilient. We can teach society to be resilient. We don't of course, there's a lot of really weak people out there. And if you tell them that they can't handle hurty words, they'll probably believe it. And then they'll live their life as if they can't handle hurty words. But if you actually give them some tools, some resiliency tools, and tell them that actually these words they can actually hurt you. Whatever happened to sticks and stones, may break my bones. Let's get back to that, because the place we're in now is utterly ridiculous. It's terrible for, it's terrible for, clearly it's terrible for the Christian religion per se, but it's terrible for society, whether you're a Christian or not. It's just
participation medals, brother.
Yeah, exactly, right. And
this is the slippery slope of participation trophies. Yes, you sucked. You were terrible at this, but you deserve glory. Yep. You deserve glory. Yep. Yeah, no, you don't. You know what? It sucks to suck, but you want to get better at it? Practice. You don't? Well, that's fine. It's okay. There's a lot of things that I suck at. I'm terrible at it, and you know what? I don't want the participation. Some people. Rob is some of you commoners.
Some people suck at things. No, everybody sucks at most things. The point is, and that was really the start of all this, because it created a mindset in young people. And me and you were about the same age. We're early 40s. It started pretty much when I think right around the time we were in grade schools when this really started.
Yep.
If you were any older than us, I think you just missed it. But it really got into full swing, probably when we were in our 20s or whatnot. But what we see right now is the direct result of that. Those kids grew up. They never learned any resiliency, and they feel entitled to never be offended, to never hear words that they don't like, to never hear opinions that they don't agree with. and they put pressure on politicians to make those criminal acts. And the politicians, of course, are craven and weak, and they're listening to them. They're doing that exact thing. And now here we look at these bills, these bills like Bill C9, whatever the list is, off by heart more than I do. But, we've been talking about for the last 6 months, we've been saying things like, look at the UK, look what's happening in the UK.
Yep.
People are getting arrested for mean tweets. And now it's on our doorstep. This is, this is a hill worth dying on.
Bill C2, C8, C9, C12, Bill C63
Yep.
soon to be retabled. And just the UK, Wilf sent me a text on Messenger on Facebook, and it's about, I heard about it, so I'm not ignoring you, Wilf. I always have some to do, and yeah, it's hard for me to answer everything, but all to say that there is a UK man that's being charged. I think he's going to jail for 2 years for a mean tweet, yet there's a guy that's been found guilty of raping a 13-year-old girl, but because he's an immigrant, no consequences at all. He's okay. So yeah,
Crazy.
White guy
Insane.
means speech equal 2 years. Muslim dude, immigrant, rapes a 13-year-old child. No problem. He probably didn't know better. He's not used to our laws here, so we got to give him a break. Yeah, okay.
That's
Cool.
Yeah. We're letting our politicians wage a war on everything that we are, than we stand for, right? Our religion, our values, our culture, our history, our skin color. It's our own politicians doing this to us. It isn't even the immigrants doing it. They're probably shocked. They're probably shocked that our leaders are actually taking their side on just about everything. But it's crazy.
Oh,
right?
come on, they know. They're not stupid. Come on, they're not stupid. They take advantage of a system that is helping.
No. They
So
know.
why
They're
wouldn't
probably
they,
surprised.
right?
They probably can't believe their luck. They probably can't believe their luck that they're able to get away with this in this way.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, wokeism is it's about self-hate. It's hating everything to do with the West, with yourself, with your skin color, with your culture, with your history. That's why they hate Christianity, because that is the religion that Western civilization was founded on. If the roles were reversed, if for whatever reason, let's say it's an alternate world and Islam is what Western civilization was founded on, and Christianity is the Middle Eastern religion practiced by Arabs, the wokes would hate Islam and they would favor Christianity. It's nothing to do with the religions. They hate everything to do with the West. It's self-hate, and we can't let these nihilistic dystopian freaks destroy the culture that our ancestors have bequeathed to us.
Yet one of the funniest, ironic thing that most leftists do not understand is that the Bible, I think it's the Nigerian or the Cameroon Bible, is older than the King James Bible. So Christianity was in Africa way before it ever entered Europe. Because I think that our leftists, our woke leftists in the West forget that the people that are Muslims and the people that originated Christianity pretty much look the same. I got some friends that are from Israel, and if they told me they were Muslims and they would dress like Muslims, they sound the same. Sorry, guys. They have the same accent. I know Lebanese guys that are Catholic. They're Christians, but they speak Arabic. And unless you know your history and you know that French-speaking Lebanese are normally Catholics, like the vast majority of them, because they left Lebanon to come to Quebec in order not to get murdered by the Muslim invasion. So the thing is that you would know the difference. And that's the funny part. They think that, like a lot of Christians, unfortunately, think that Jesus Christ was a white guy with blue eyes. Sorry.
No.
Sorry to disappoint. Sorry to disappoint you. That is not the case. But that's the funniest part, right? Is they tend to forget that they are Middle Eastern and they were in Africa way before they were in Europe.
Sure.
So this is not a white people religion. This is a Middle Eastern people religion. But
Yeah.
let's not talk too much truth because we will confuse the woke.
Yeah.
On that
Yeah,
note, guys, I think we're 1 hour in. All I want to say is there's a lot of new faces, names that I've never seen before. So thank you for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed the show because we do this every day, Thursday to Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Tomorrow we will have Queen University law professor Bruce Party to deep dive into Bill C-9 and Bill C-63. So stick around. Make sure to like, make sure to comment. This is the whole point of the show. We don't care if you agree, you disagree, if you're from the left, you're from the right. Don't matter. The whole point's to have civil discourse, civil conversations like we're having right now. And especially if you disagree, please call me out. I'm more than happy to address disagreement because this is what really moves the needle. So thank you for being here. Make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe, and join us again. And Rob, I will let you close the show.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much hit on all the points. Guys, definitely going to want to tune in tomorrow. We've got Bruce Party in. Is that name? Bruce Party?
Yes, sir.
Did I get that right? Yeah. So that'll be an excellent conversation. As Nico said, if you are new here and you want to consider supporting the show, you can do that through YouTube by becoming a member. You can do that for the low price of $2.99 per month. And another way to support is just keep coming back. Throw some comments in there. Agree with us, disagree with us. The show is based on audience engagement. And we'll get to those. We're certainly not afraid to take questions that are calling us out. As long as you can handle us calling you back out. But we'll do it respectfully because that's really what this show is all about. Respectful discourse, finding common ground when we can, and respectfully disagreeing when we can't. Other than that, folks, have a great rest of your night.
Hold on. No, I refuse because now I just saw 2 comments in a row. Beaver grease, meat, and rusty wiener.
Yeah.
No, and they were in a row.
It's a match made in heaven.
One comment over the other. Just saying.
Beaver grease and rusty wiener.
Oh, those are great fucking names. Absolutely great names.
All right, guys. Peace. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.